Hey, fifth grade. We are here today to talk about muscles. When we started our skeletal system, we talked about bones. We talked about how there's over 200 bones in your body. But luckily for you, you did not have to memorize all of them. And so we studied kind of just a few of the major bones. And we talked about when you got to 7th grade, you'll study a little bit in more detail, learn a few more bones. And then you'll have it again in high school where you'll take an entire anatomy class on bones, muscles, organs, all that kind of stuff. So it's the same thing with our muscles. We are kind of studying some of the major muscle groups within your body that you would kind of need to know or use on a 5th grade basis. When you get to 7th grade, you'll learn a few more. And then same when you get to anatomy, you'll learn a few more than that. So you need your packet, you need scissors, you need a glue stick, and a pencil. If you don't have those, pause the video and restart it when you have them. So on page 9 of your packet, you have these major muscle groups, right? We have them labeled for you. You can see them. Easy to identify for when you're studying for your test or your quiz. Your quiz will be very similar to this, hint, hint, nudge, nudge. You will be given a person, you will have a label that is pointed to it, and then you will have to identify it. So actually, if you look on page 10, this is a great example of what your quiz will look like. Part of your quiz will look like. Remember, your quiz is going to be over the skeletal and the muscular system, so you'll have it over both. But you will be given a person, it will point to some of the major muscle groups, and you will be asked to identify them. You will have a word bank too, but just know this is very similar. So I wanted to go over page 10 with you just to make sure this made really a lot of sense as we went from there. Okay, so this very first muscle group that you have is called your pectoralis. If you take your hand and you put it over top of your heart, you are holding it over the organ of your heart, but you're holding it over your pectoralis muscles, okay? That is those kind of like your chest muscles, if that makes sense. If you notice, there's also an arrow pointing to it, and you might go, oh, is that the same thing? This one's actually pointing to kind of your shoulder muscles, right? So these are the muscles that kind of cover your shoulder, help you to move your arm up and around. Those are called your deltoids. Okay, if we go into your arm, if you notice, again, there's 2 sets of muscles, just like when we studied your bones in your arm, right? And how there were several muscles, some on the outer, some on the inner. These are what you have. So if you, look, if you take your arm and you flex your arm, right? Show me your muscles. You will notice that there are muscles at the top of your arm. If your arm is kind of facing towards your body, the top of your arm, those are called your biceps, right? This top muscle. And then the muscles underneath are called your triceps. Okay, so those are the ones that are kind of on that back side of the arm, or if you're flexing them kind of like underneath. Okay, these muscles right here that kind of cover your stomach area are called your abdominal muscles, right? If you ever heard the phrase abs, right? Oh, you've got abs. That is a shortened version of your abdominal muscles, right? Those muscles that are right there on your stomach. Then you have these that are kind of on your sides, the muscles on your sides. Those are called your obliques. Okay. You have the muscles on your leg that are called your quadriceps. And then the kind of like, almost like your calf muscles, but on that kind of back side of your leg is called your gastrocnemius. I can never say that word. Luckily, you don't have to pronounce it for your test. But those are the kind of the major muscle groups, the major muscles that we are working on today. For this unit, just in 5th grade, again, you have them all labeled on page 9. Now you've done them on page 10 so that you can kind of see exactly where they are. And again, your quiz, this section of your quiz is going to be very similar to this, where you're given a model and you're asked to fill in the blanks, so to speak, with which muscles are which. Now, if you will do me a favor and turn to the next couple pages in your packet, you will see kind of a foldable. So we're going to kind of make those together. You will see on you'll see a couple of blank pages, and you'll see this, which is your foldable, and you'll see these, which is kind of like your types of foldable, right? So I believe this is on page 11, and this is page 12. I don't know, I cut off my page number, so I can't even help you, but either one. This one is actually copied 2 to a page, just because it would be hard to copy a small one, but you only need 1. So just cut off one side of this and then throw the other part away. But either way, you are going to be looking on page 13 in your packet. You are going to end up cutting out this foldable, okay, where we're talking about the different types of muscles. We talked about a little bit about this when you guys watched the video, but these are just the different types of muscles that you have within your body, and you'll use kind of which as we go, okay? So you are going to cut and fold this onto your page 13. I ended up trimming a little off on each side so that it fit, but you're gonna make a foldable. You guys know how to do these. And then what you're gonna do is take these little boxes and cut them out and glue them in under each one of these parts. So go ahead and cut them out. I wrote the number down underneath. And what I'd like you to do is go ahead and see if you can, just based on the little bit of background knowledge you had from the video we watched today, can you identify which one? I want you to pause the video, cut them out, put them there, don't glue them yet, and then restart the video, and I'm gonna talk about each of those, and we'll learn more about it in the coming days. So pause the video, sort them, and then come back. Okay, hopefully you sorted these, and I wanna kind of talk to you about some of what they are. Okay, so let's first start with smooth muscles. These are the ones that you had 5 in, okay? These guys are your involuntary stomach muscles. These are ones your brain does not have to tell what to do. It just does it automatically, like blinking, swallowing. These are things you don't have to make a conscious thought to. Your body and your brain just recognize they have to happen, and they do it, okay? These are usually the muscles that control organs in your body. Okay, so your stomach muscles, your brain, you don't have to literally think, oh, it's time to digest lunch. Stomach, go ahead, do your thing, right? Your stomach just automatically does it. As you're eating, it starts digesting food. When you start noticing that your body doesn't have as much food to digest, your stomach sends a kind of a message to your brain, and it starts grumbling, right? Hey, add more food to it. Okay, so these are, an example would be your stomach muscles, kind of like what I just talked about, right? These guys are usually found in sheets. Here's an example of it. And they don't connect to the bone, right? Typically, these are the ones that are organs, so we don't have them connected to the bone, okay? We have your skeletal muscles. These ones are ones that are voluntary muscles, okay? These are ones that you think about moving and they do, right? You have to actually have conscious thought, move my arm, and then your arm moves. So those are voluntary muscles. These are the ones that we use to move around. So as such, they are the ones that are connected and move bones, right? Hence the phrase skeletal muscle, because we need them to move around, right? So your abdominal muscles are an example of that, okay? Those that we kind of talked about earlier, these. So if you're laying on the floor and you want to sit up, your abdominal muscles need to move to help sit your body up in order to do that. And then last one we have is the cardiac muscle, right? Cardiac, we know, means something to do with the heart. So as an example, heart that's an example of a cardiac muscle. And this is what is used to pump blood throughout your body, okay? This also is an involuntary muscle. You don't think about it. Your heart just pumps and does its thing. You don't have to consciously think heart pump, heart pump, heart pump, heart pump. But it does. As we get into our next unit that we're starting next week, we're going to learn a little bit more about the cardiac muscle and how it actually pumps blood throughout your body. So this should have just been an easy intro to it. Make sure that you have them glued down under the correct thing, because this is something that is important. You will need to understand the difference between voluntary and involuntary muscles for your quiz next week. Questions, shoot me an email. Have a great day. Bye.